today on DC News Now.
Drug-free zones are now in effect across DC. What it means for you, next.
Enjoy the warmth. Rain clouds rolling in. Weather forecaster Brittany Ward is tracking it all hour by hour. A Tidal Basin project means farewell to an iconic cherry blossom tree. The bittersweet update. Lawmakers passing a bill that could pull the plug on TikTok in the United States. The details on the social media shakeup. And a DMV Pet Expo, the show you and your pet can visit this weekend.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for the news at noon. I'm Tosin Fakile in for Mark Hall. We're going to start your day with the weather. It is a beautiful day out there. Weather forecaster Brittany Ward joining us for the latest check of the forecast. And Brittany, it is feeling like summer out there.
Oh yeah, these temperatures, we usually see them in mid-May. So the fact that we are going to be holding on to the warmth as we head through much of the day today, enjoy it because rain will be in that 7-day forecast. But let's head outside right now. This is a live look there at the Roslyn skyline. Notice we are seeing a mixture of sun and clouds, but overall dry and beautiful day will be in store for your Thursday. So any lunch plans, definitely do them outside. Temperature wise, not looking too bad at all. We're sitting at 63 degrees right now in the nation's capital. Then as you head further off south towards Fredericksburg, Virginia, as well as Orange, you guys are sitting in the low to mid 70s, holding on to the 60s though. The further off you head to the north and west, and the trend today will be above average temperatures, so not looking like a bad forecast at all. As we head through the rest of your afternoon, as we head into that 2 o'clock hour, it looks like we're going to be holding on to the mid 70s, seeing more sunshine across the area, but could start to see a few clouds begin to roll their way in, with highs getting into the upper 70s. So again, a good Thursday out there, but things will begin to change as we head into the end of the work week. So keep it here, Tosin. We'll have a full check of that forecast and what to expect coming up.
All right, looking forward to it, Brittany. Thank you. 12:02 and happening now. Drug-free zones have hit the district. It's all part of the new Secure DC legislation that was signed into law on Monday. DC News Now's Candace Cole joins us from Gallery Place with more.
I'm standing on the corner of 8th and G Streets Northwest, one of the newly declared drug-free zones across D.C. today. Take a look at this sign. It's a public notice letting people know that they're in a drug-free zone, something Mayor Bowser actually voted to repeal when she sat on the city council 10 years ago.
I have seen some folks smoking on government property, which is illegal. We've had people come up and get combative with us because they were so high.
Today, over a dozen drug-free zones went into effect across the district, covering parts of Northwest, Northeast, and Southeast. Their aim to stop 2 or more people from gathering with the purpose of, quote, knowingly or intentionally possessing, manufacturing, or distributing illegal drugs. According to the Secure DC law, the police chief can declare any area a drug-free zone for up to 5 days and with at least 24 hours written notice to the city council. The police chief, however, cannot declare the same area a drug-free zone for more than 15 days within a 30-day period. As the law stipulates, factors such as whether or not an area has experienced a high number of drug-related arrests, violent crime, or homicide in the area over the last 6 months should be considered before a drug-free zone is declared. Concerns over drug-free zones disproportionately targeting communities of color have been raised by the ACLU and DC residents.
Is this, a bill for all, or is this a bill to target a certain type of demographic of the city? It's really sad to think that, what was once, a safe haven for so many people has, just became a breeding ground for, new buildings that will essentially just eradicate so much culture that was, deep rooted in the area.
This first round of drug-free zones will be in effect until 8 a.m. next Tuesday. Reporting in Northwest, Candace Cole, DC News Now.
All right, Candace, thank you. And anyone who does not comply with an officer after being told to disperse while in a drug-free zone could be arrested and fined up to $300. At 12:02, the Tidal Basin will be getting a makeover, and the major restoration and improvement project it'll come at a cost. The National Park Service says the Tidal Basin seawalls are crumbling. The financial cost in the hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm talking 113 million. But the other cost, the iconic area will say goodbye to many cherry trees. Now, despite the sinking seawall, some of the cherry trees like Stumpy right there on your screen, they're still blossoming. But MPS says time and a rise in sea level leads to flooding, and it hurts those cherry blossom trees and filling the sidewalks with debris. Now, to fix the issue, MPS says it'll reconstruct over 6,000 feet of seawall, raise the basin, and widen the walkways. The price tag, $113 million, plus the removal of 140 of those beloved Japanese cherry trees between Thomas Jefferson Memorial and the Franklin Roosevelt Memorial. Officials say they did everything to minimize the number of trees that must be removed.
You know, the problem is that they're built so close to the seawall. So when we bring in those big excavators and pile drivers and cement mixers and everything that's going to go into a project like this, simply can't work around the trees. The good news is when the project is over, we will be replacing far more trees than we're taking out.
MPS says Stumpy and all the other trees removed will be turned to mulch and used around the National Mall. People we spoke to at the Tidal Basin say they're devastated.
I'm heartbroken to hear that. I mean, it's so beautiful to see cherry blossoms, or soon to be cherry blossoms, blooming out of that.
Well, I'm going to take a photo of Stumpy.
Yes.
So that I will always have Stumpy.
Well, some more good news. There will be no construction activity that affects the National Cherry Blossom Festival this year. Construction begins late spring, early summer. In Montgomery County, Executive Mark Elrich is presenting his budget for fiscal year 2025. Now, after the presentation, the County Council will review the budget plan over the next 2 months. Once necessary changes are made, the new budget will take effect on July 1st. And an update this afternoon on the Greek Life investigation at the University of Maryland. A group of students and fraternities are now requesting a temporary restraining order against administrators at the university. That is according to new court documents. The restraining order would prevent UMD from putting any restrictions on the students and fraternities. A spokesperson for Fraternity Forward Coalition, a group advocating for student and fraternal organization rights, says in part, quote, "We have never seen such an egregious abuse of power in higher education administration." It also went on to say administrators began with their preferred outcome that fraternities and sororities must be cut down to size. Now, March 1st, the university suspended all Greek activity involving several chapters. March 8th, the university hired a third-party consultant to interview members of the organization. However, that firm's name was never released. Now, University of Maryland also did not say why the investigation started. The school says it'll provide an update tomorrow. Developing now, immigrations and custom enforcement agents in Washington, D.C. and Baltimore will now be required to wear body cameras when out in public as part of the Biden administration's effort to improve trust and accountability in law enforcement. For now, the new policy will only apply to ICE agents in D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, Buffalo, and Detroit. The hope is to expand to other cities, but that would require more funding from Congress. Meanwhile, D.C. is reducing its effort to help migrants. The district is closing down the Days Inn for migrants after spending more than $50 million since 2022 to house and feed them. The City Council Chairman Phil Mendelson tells us housing migrants have been very costly.
Somewhere around $8 to $10 million a month. But on the other hand, these are human beings, and the city tries to be a welcoming place.
The governors of Texas and Arizona sent more than 13,000 migrants to the district since 2022 to protest President Biden's immigration policies. Developing now in Virginia, people in Loudoun County speaking out against a proposal to bring new data centers to the area. The proposal will turn more than 100 acres in Belmont into nearly 4 million square feet of data centers. Yesterday, critics rallied in front of the county government center ahead of a Board of Supervisors vote. Those against the plan say they're worried about the centers hurting the environment, taking up too much space, and using too much power.
We can't power the data centers we have now, and to change the zoning on land to increase the amount of data center in this particular application seems irresponsible.
Right now, the county has more than 30 million square feet of operational data centers. The Board of Supervisors voted on the proposal late last night. DC News Now is working to learn more of the outcome of that vote. Well, an all-girl robotics team made up of elementary school students in Herndon is dominating a competition scene. The trio, who call themselves the GemBots, are heading to an international competition soon. Northern Virginia reporter Haley Mylon caught up with the team and explains how the girls use their friendship to conquer obstacles.
It's really fun because, you know, it's your friends that are together, but you also have like coding and building too with it.
Coding, engineering, and friends. The perfect mix for the three-girl robotics team from Naismith School in Herndon, the GemBots. It's hard work.
We like make the base of the robot and then build off of that.
The girls code a course and make instructions.
It picks up green and purple blocks and also knocks down the red and dumps in the bins.
The team nabbed the Excellence Award at the Virginia State Championship this year, earning a bid to the World Robotics Competition in Dallas coming up in May.
We get to work together and see what it's like to have a team.
The teammates learn to play off one another's talents and passions.
Emily's like a really good coder, and me and Mei Ling are really good builders.
And when things don't go according to plan, that's okay.
Even if your teammate does something bad, it's okay because robotics is hard.
The only all-girl team to qualify for the competition, they can't wait to show their stuff and share their passion with others.
We'll get to meet other people and their strategies and how they built the robot, and we'll get to spend more time with them.
The GemBots head to Dallas on May 2nd. Reporting for Fairfax County, Haley Mylon, DC News Now.